So camp.
Stop laughing at me. It's not even funny.
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Sam.
And this is The Empty Closet.
The show for everyone, whether you're in the closet
Or out and proud.
or somewhere in between. Andrew,
Yes?
you've been going to the gym.
Yes, I have. And it's not particularly just only a recent thing. Like, I've been trying to do this a bit lately. I've been learning, and I've ramped it up recently.
How have you ramped it up?
Oh, by actually going more than like once a week.
So, are you... For those of you who perhaps have far distant memories of Andrew, you need to understand Andrew's becoming a bit of a gym rat.
It's such loaded language, Sam. Such loaded language. I'm not sure I appreciate that. No, I don't think I'm a gym rat. I'm just like, I found a gym that I really like, and it's not full of people that I don't like. And so I've found that I've been going more. And, I've just been trying new things. I've learned so much, Sam. I've learned like how to do all these different exercises. And suddenly I used to get like a bit of back pain sometimes because my back's a bit funny. And I found since I've started going to the gym and trying different weightlifting things that suddenly I don't actually get any back pain anymore.
Yay!
So basically my plan was number one, don't injure yourself at the gym. Cause we've all heard of that friend who's been like, been working out really hard and then like ripped a tendon or a muscle or something.
We have, but I'd like to say as rule number 1.5, so addendum to rule number 1, don't exacerbate existing injuries at the gym. Is that how you're going with that, Andrew?
Sam, why do you have to mention my sports injury? Wait, every time that I'm talking to like mask boys and they're like, so what's wrong with your little pinky finger? Because it's swollen up like so much. I'm like, oh, I got a sports injury. You know what really happened, Sam?
What really happened?
I broke my finger while I was playing netball.
That's totally a sports injury.
Yeah, but like when I'm talking to like mask guys, bro code would dictate that I'm supposed to say it's a sports injury, not I broke it while I was playing netball.
God, it's just tragic, isn't it, really?
For once I can teach you something, Sam. You're always teaching me things in the closet.
I do think that in terms of fitness, netball's pretty fantastic because when it's played well, it's a fast-paced game.
I literally have not run so much for a long time, and it's not like just not running as in like, just set the timer and run for like 5Ks, 10Ks. It's like sprint, stop. It's crazy, and I sweat so much doing it.
It's interval training.
It's heinous, and I injured myself.
You did. You got an injury that still hasn't cleared up, which we have talked about on the show before.
Yeah, we talked about how I was in denial that I'd actually gotten injured. So I had this injury and then I didn't go to the doctor until one of my friends at work literally took my phone from me and phoned the doctor and then put it to my ear. So that forced me to make an appointment to get it looked at.
So, did you thank them profusely later? Did you give them, I don't know, swollen finger themed cupcakes or something?
No, I've just thanked them by telling the story 1,000 times because it is funny. Everybody laughs at it.
You could give them a guest pass to your gym.
I don't know if they do guest passes. Although if they did do guest passes, I know exactly which day I'd be bringing my guests along to. What's that look for, Sam? What? It's not my fault that the local rugby team might play there. I've trained there or whatever.
I'm pretty sure they don't play rugby in the gym.
I'm not sure. I've never really properly seen rugby. I don't know. Don't they do a scrum? I'm pretty sure I saw them doing that in the gym.
Depends, I guess. I can't get that image out of my head. And I'm not sure that I'm happy about that.
Well, you obviously haven't met any of the rugby players because they're delightful. You love to see them in a scrum.
Motivations to go to the gym. Andrew has them, and Andrew's going to tell us about them. Aren't you, Andrew?
I do have motivations. Believe it or not, motivations that are separate from watching the rugby boys at the gym, because they're actually very fine pieces of people.
I'm sure that you watch them to get inspiration for your own routine.
I'm just looking for technique, Sam, because I'm worried that my technique's not right.
Is technique an innuendo?
No, but it gives you an excuse to watch somebody intently. Oh my God, I'm that creepy guy at the gym.
Don't be the creepy guy at the gym.
No, I actually, in all honesty, so all jokes aside, I do know when the rugby boys are there, but I tend to try and avoid that time of day because firstly, it gets really busy and you have to wait for like pieces of equipment to become available. And you know what I'm like, Sam? I have like a list of the exercises that I'm supposed to do, and they're the ones that like I've been taught how to do properly. And that's a really important thing. Don't like try and do exercises that nobody's shown you how to do.
Personal trainers cost for a reason. They're important.
And also, YouTube's free for a reason, because they don't teach you right. Anyway, I basically have this list of ones that I'm supposed to do, and I tick them off as I do them, and, you know, I'm really, like, getting into it that way, because it's easy to do. But when you have to wait around for the equipment, it's quite, like, hard to just be waiting. So I tend to go at other times of the day. And what I found is that when you go at other times of the day, there's a different crowd of people in the gym, and these are the people that I like hanging around with. This is part of my motivation of going to the gym. I remember when I first started, there was this lovely older couple that I'm guessing they might have been like late 50s, maybe early 60s. And they were there during the day when I was, so I assume that maybe they had night shift jobs or were perhaps like recently retired or something.
Or part-time workers or something.
Something like that. And so they would go and like spot for each other, like help each other do the exercises. And over time, you saw them both improving so much. And it made me feel really good. I was like, this is amazing. This is what it's supposed to be about. It's about people trying to better themselves rather than meatheads going into the gym and being like, whoa, bro, look how much I can lift.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of motivations people have for fitness. And some of them are perhaps more wholesome motivations than others.
Well, I was listening to another podcast that was talking about motivations to go to the gym, and one of the biggest ones for men, but I'm not sure whether the same is true for women. One of the biggest motivations for men is like, I've just been through a horrific breakup and I'll show her I'm going to get buff.
Yeah, no. Well, the studies that I've read about women and fitness is more like, it's more aimed inwards. Like if it's after a breakup, it's not about showing him who's boss. It's about like, I wasn't good enough. So it's not healthy, but it's directed inwards rather than outwards.
Yeah, it's probably not the healthiest, but my motivations probably more resonate on that side of it.
Your arms are looking good, by the way.
Oh, great. For everyone who's playing along at home, check out my social media page. You'll see my arms out because it's getting hot here in Cairns. So there's a lot of tank top action.
Now, just before we move on, I do want to talk a little bit about barriers to fitness or to going to the gym. So, it's all well and good to be motivated, but is there anything that can stop you going, or anything that makes it more difficult?
Far and away, it is time. Like my finding the time to actually get there. And once you're in the door, like you generally have a good workout, or you can stay there. Even if you cut your session a bit short, like at least you can walk away and be like, right, I've done all that I can today. But literally just getting there is like the biggest barrier for me.
I think that I know I'm unique in my circumstances, but I do think there's something to be said that non-fitness health problems are a really big problem for getting fit. So like for me, I can't just go for a walk by myself because sometimes I lose my balance and I need someone there to help me stabilize. So I either need to take hiking sticks and run the risk or go with somebody. So if no one can go with me, I can't go walking. Like, what do I do? So there are other barriers.
And that sort of companionship, like helping sort of barrier is not just unique to like your situation. There's lots of people that have that. And even you'll find like once you get really up to like heavy weights training, then you actually need someone there to stop you from hurting yourself as well. So it's really valid. I think that's why people have gym buddies. I haven't found a gym buddy yet though.
You will. Hopefully amongst the rugby team.
Hopefully. There's some other barriers involved as well when you go to the gym. It's not just like needing a gym buddy, because some people don't use a gym buddy. Like I've seen lots of people there like training by themselves, whether that's recommendable or not, who knows. For me, one of the biggest barriers to getting there when I first started, it wasn't about the time commitment. It was about like being confronted with like the attitude and the vibe. It's like I don't feel like I'm good enough or know enough about what I'm doing to actually be seen here.
And that's not just an internal dilemma. Like there are a lot of, fitness spaces, be they gyms, classes, whatever, sports venues that have a real ego about them.
Yeah, we all have rocked up to that like gym class that we psyched ourselves up for and we're like, yes, we're going to do it. And you might even be there with some friends and you walk in and there's all these like really skinny or like really buff, fit looking people that are like there in their really expensive workout wear and like they don't even break a sweat during the class. And it makes you feel like you're like, oh, this is not my crowd.
And not even just that, like there's certainly gyms where, for instance, there's harassment, there's bullying, like there's female only gyms are a thing for a reason. Like it was a huge problem for me when I was fitter to find a space where I felt comfortable doing what I needed to do.
Yeah. And when you find it, you just have to like grab it and run with it.
Yeah, and there were times even like there were gyms that I used that I was quite happy to, walk for 20 Ks on the thing and use some of the weights, but I wouldn't do certain exercises because of how they made my body look.
Oh, for a whole bunch of time. I can't say that I've never done an exercise because of the way it makes my body look, mainly because I don't really know how most of them make my body look. I feel I always look lanky and awkward anyway. But there was like one part of the gym that I wouldn't go to at a certain time of day because I knew that there were people who had like attitude issues that would hang out there. And so I was like, I'm just going to avoid that crowd.
Yeah, no, I had things where anything that involved chest movement, if there were particular groups of people at the gym, I wouldn't be doing it because they just stare at you. And whether or not that stare is appreciative doesn't actually matter. You're not really enjoying it at the time. But another barrier to fitness is even just accessibility, like from a financial point of view. So like this is something that I think we're pretty lucky about in some respects because like down, say the Esplanade in Cairns, there's all this free gym equipment. There are all these free classes. There's groups that meet up and do free things. But you still have to get to those things. They have to fit in with your schedule. So that comes into timing. And if you can't fit into those things, then you have to pay out for a gym. And that's not always affordable.
Yeah, it can be kind of expensive. And the thing is, what I've noticed is that it's really hard to get a comparative price between different gym venues because like they're all so secretive about how much they're charging their members. And even when you're there, you look around and you're like, am I paying the same as that guy next to me? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's very secret squirrel business.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think it's because they just charge you what they can get away with.
Well, maybe they've just had a reno done and they need to pay for it.
Oh, that's positive thinking. I'm pretty sure they just there were some gyms before I moved to Cairns. There were some gyms that in the big city They need to like get the buff people in so that then when regular people come in, they see all these like real buff people, using the gym equipment and they're like, oh, this must be a great gym because they're all attractive and amazing. And so what I found out they did is they would reduce the price for anyone who basically was already fit and bulky. And then for anyone who was just coming in, like getting started, they were like, oh, you're full price. It was crazy.
That's pretty horrendous.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the way it worked.
I have no comments. I don't think I can say anything to that.
Well, the good news is I haven't heard of anything like that happening in our small town here.
That's probably because people would be all over it like a rash in about 3 minutes.
It would be the front page of the Cairns Post. It literally would be. Honestly, we have weather that makes the front page. If there was a story like that going around, I'm pretty sure that gym prices would make the front page. Thanks for listening to The Empty Closet. If you liked this episode, check out our podcast. Just search for Empty Closet Radio, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be kept up to date with all of our latest episodes.